Welcome to the Cannabis Podcast, where you'll find zero Dutch marketing, zero tomato tech, and zero GMOs. Just cannabis, the way it's supposed to be. The cannabis truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help my bud.
Good morning, everyone. Osmo here. Been a while since I've done a podcast. Kind of been busy. Lots of things going on over here. Been doing lots of new things. I guess last year, everyone kind of freaked out whenever my outdoor cannabis plants were budding in mid-July. Well, this year, I got foot buds in June. Yes, my plants outside right now have foot buds on them in the first week of June, my friends. And they are not autos. These are regs. But anyway, we won't go into details about that because, like I said, every time I try to do something growing, all you all do is complain and bitch about it. Like something's wrong. Anyway, we won't get into breeding or growing this podcast. A story come across my desk in regards to a company and a gentleman named Tom from Cannabis Industry Lawyer and a company called Collateral Base. From my understanding, this company here is in the legal works for the cannabis industry and also does permits for the cannabis industry. And this one is in regards to the Missouri Cannabis Lottery that just happened Tuesday. You have to excuse me a little bit. This might be a little bit of a longer podcast. I got lots of notes here and emails to look through as I go through this quite interesting story. I guess I'm going to have to start doing more podcasts on these quite interesting stories because there's quite a few of them. And they don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. So, it's early Friday morning here in the Ozarks, Missouri. Having my cup of coffee and my bowl of old school chronic. The exotics. Yes, I said the exotics. Well, how can you say exotics? I can say exotics, but these are old school genetics that no one has. That's how I can call them exotics. Anyway, having a nice big bowl, my cup of coffee this morning, and I'm going to take my time with this podcast because it's an awful lot to talk about. Well, this Tom from Cannabis Industry Lawyer and a company called Collateral Base. The way it looks here, the client hires this company to submit a grow permit for the state of Missouri for the micro business and the cannabis lottery that happened Tuesday. From my understanding, this client already had a grow facility, a location, let's see here, a LLC, pretty much everything needed for the submission of the application as a grow, or what you would say, Missouri would say, wholesale permit. So this client looks like here goes and applies for the permit through the company. The company takes the information, submits the application, but instead of submitting it as a grow application, the attorney, Tom, decides to change it from the grow application to a dispensary and submit it as a dispensary instead of the grow. Even though the client wanted to apply for the grow application. Kind of weird. Anyway, it says here that the attorney said that they did that because the attorney said that the grow application was harder to get investors for, and that the grow facility and the grow permit was nothing but a money pit. Okay. Well, I thought they submitted applications and not financial advice or an accountant or a stockbroker for that matter. Kind of interesting. Why would somebody do that? Okay. So this attorney did this without even telling the client that he was doing this, or even asked the client that he was doing this. He did this based upon his own assumptions that the grow permit was a money pit. And so he switched it to the dispensary and submitted the application as a dispensary. Okay. Wow, this is interesting. Very interesting. So, the client finds out that he switched it from a grow permit to a dispensary. And then the attorney tells the client that he did it for his best interest. Okay. Well, would the best interest be that the client wanted the grow permit and not the dispensary? I mean, that kind of would sound normal to me, but very interesting. Okay, let's continue here. Let me look here some more. Okay, then at this point, I guess it would be futile to do anything because the application's already submitted as a dispensary, regardless of what the client wanted. Okay. And so, really, there's nothing more to do about that other than I need to get that for your best interest. Okay. All right. So it looks like here that once the client found out that the application was submitted as a dispensary, it's looking like here that the client lived in District 7. Okay. And the dispensary was applied for in District 2. Okay. Well, it also states on the Missouri website that if you're not in the correct district, then that's automatic permit denial. Okay. That doesn't make no sense. So you're telling me, what? Okay. So the dispensary permit was put in District 2, which you live in District 7. So that totally makes the whole permit invalid from the day it was submitted. Interesting. And then it's just said when the client found out about this, the attorney told the client that it didn't matter and there was nothing he can do about it, the client could do about it, because he was submitted to the lottery. So it's saying here that the attorney told the client that it didn't matter how or anything that happened, but he was in the lottery, or she, whatever. The client was in the lottery, and just being in the lottery, the attorney was good. He'd done his job. And then the client was told it's too bad that the client got mad about the whole process, and the attorney told the client it was too bad just because he lost in the lottery, because he didn't win. Well, of course you didn't win. At that point, he wasn't gonna win. There was no win. The whole permit was invalid from the day you submitted it. Okay, this is interesting. You know what? This cannabis industry is a clown show, folks. This is crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. I guess I'm going to have to start doing podcasts on this stuff on a daily basis, because this is very interesting. So, kind of something. Let's start here from the beginning. The client wants to grow permit, has his own location, has his own grow facility, already built, and already approved by the state of Missouri. Okay, so everything is good. So that attorney, all he had to do was just submit that client's information and send it in as an application for the permit, and that was it. There was nothing more to do. But yet the attorney said that you're going to switch from a grow permit to a dispensary because it was harder to get investors for a grow permit, and that a grow permit was nothing but a money pit. Well, how is that the attorney's business to begin with, when you hired him to submit an application to the state of Missouri for a grow permit? Kind of looks like you didn't hire him to be a stockbroker or a financial advisor. You hired him to submit an application. Wow, this is crazy. Ah, it also shows on here that the attorney and the company continually denied any wrongdoing whatsoever. That as long as they were in the lottery, that the company done their job. Okay. And it didn't matter for what permit, as long as it was in the lottery. This is crazy. This is early in the morning and I'm getting to read all this. This is pretty nuts. And then when the attorney took his own advice and changed it from a grow permit to a dispensary permit, that the attorney couldn't even get that right and put him in a wrong district from which the client lived in, which made the permit completely invalid from the time of submittal. Okay. Boy, what a wake up. Hang on, I gotta have some coffee. This is pretty crazy, folks. I think I need another bowl over here, because yeah. Wouldn't you think, as a business person? I mean, I've been in big tech for over 20 years. Big tech. big projects. I was project manager. I was done all kinds of different roles. But in my experience in big tech, in business, working for almost every Fortune 500 company on planet Earth, that when you or one of your members of your team makes an error on the project or for a client, you don't tell the client, too bad, that's what you get. You fix the problem and rectify the issues, take responsibility for the errors, and do whatever is needed to make the client happy. That's kind of my experience on how to do business. I mean, I would never, ever sit there and tell a client, well, that's what you get. Good luck. Very interesting, folks. Kind of shows a little bit of business immaturity there, but very interesting. I'm going to have to rehash this a couple times here. So you hired an attorney with a company that submits business applications for the state of Missouri, or from any state for that matter, because this Tom from Cannabis Industry Lawyers in Chicago, and the business he's working with, or his company, I don't know if it's his company or, but it looks like it is, collateral base out of Nevada or Arizona. I think it is Arizona. Yeah. Anyway, wow. That they would take your submitted application and then change it to whatever they decide fits your best interests. Switch it from one to another. And then when they did switch it from one to another, they didn't even do it correctly. And then to proceed to tell the client that it was too bad, good luck, because you were just in the lottery and you lost and you're not happy. Well, you weren't going to win anything. There wasn't nothing to win when it wasn't done correctly from the start. Very interesting. I do have to say, that's very interesting, folks. And this is your cannabis industry. Now, I did before the podcast contact Tom from Cannabis Industry Lawyer and asked him if he'd like to be on the podcast to make an appearance and discuss this topic, which he declined. I didn't think he would. Should have came on the podcast. Maybe he could explain why blatantly screwing over clients is his policy. But there again, I don't know. I'm not in that kind of business of doing that to people. So, very interesting, very interesting. Good luck to the winners out there in the Missouri lottery that did win this year. And unfortunately, I'm sorry for the client that had to go through this. I'm also getting other news from other people. I'm sure there's other stories out there from other people in the state of Missouri using this company here. I'm sure that this client's not the only one. So if you are listening to this podcast and have had issues or know someone with issues, osmolabs@gmail.com. I'll talk about it for you. We'll see how many more pops up in the next weeks or so. Very interesting, I must say. Well, then I'd also got the word down the pipe that the company, Tom, there, the investors he's talking about from previous clients, let's see here, from previous clients that actually won the lottery, the investors he talked about ended up being himself. Hold on, let me look at this again. So it's just saying that his client that he submitted an application for won the lottery, and then that attorney became the investor. Oh, kind of got a little thing going on there. I see. To keep somebody else from investing, and then he told this client that it was hard to get investors and it was a money pit. Well, in the cannabis industry, friend, it's not hard to get investors for anything. So I don't see that being an issue, but this client didn't need investors. Already had the facility, already had the grow location, already had everything. Why would they want an investor? Why would they want financial advice? Anyway, wow. What a wake up on a Friday morning this is. I'm going to call it short on this one. It's 21 minutes now into a podcast. I think this is my longest podcast. This should be a 4-hour show, but oh my goodness gracious. Good morning, America. Welcome to the cannabis industry. Come do business with anyone in it and see what you get. Hubba, hubba. What's next? What you gonna look out for? Hey, you gonna look out for everything in this business, because you would never see things like this in the tech industry, only in the cannabis industry, folks. It is the most clown showish thing I've ever seen. I guess I'm gonna start doing podcasts on issues like this on a daily basis, I guess, because there's an awful lot of them, and I don't even go looking for them. Well, I guess there you go. On the cannabis industry permits in the state of Missouri. You better watch out who you go through. You better do it yourself, I guess. You know what they say. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, because I wouldn't trust nobody. If you know anyone with issues, osmolabs@gmail.com. I'd love to talk about it. Until next time, stay high, my friends. God bless. Osmo out.
Unveiling the secrets of Osmolab's top-shelf cannabis breeding. What sets Osmolabs apart from the rest? At Osmolabs, the art of cannabis breeding transcends mere cultivation. The meticulous process is akin to a symphony, with each strain curated to perfection, embodying the pinnacle of quality and innovation. The science behind top-shelf genetics. Osmolabs leverages cutting-edge old-school genetic research to concoct their signature strains. Through a blend of old-school breeding techniques and technology, they unlock the hidden potential of each cultivar, resulting in unparalleled potency and flavor profiles. Nurturing excellence in every seed. From germination to harvest, Osmolabs adheres to a rigorous standard of care for their plants. Every seed is nurtured with precision and dedication, ensuring optimal growth and maximizing the genetic potential encoded within, cultivating a legacy of excellence. With a legacy spanning decades, Osmolabs has cemented its reputation as a pioneer in the cannabis industry. Their commitment to excellence and innovation continues to push the boundaries of what's possible, setting the gold standard for top-shelf cannabis breeding. The Osmolabs experience, where quality meets passion. Stepping into the world of Osmolabs is akin to embarking on a sensory journey to the past. Each strain tells a unique story, crafted with passion and expertise that is palpable in every puff. Experience the difference that top-shelf cannabis breeding can make and elevate your cannabis journey to new heights. unveil the secrets of Osmolabs and discover a world where quality, innovation, and passion converge to redefine the art of cannabis breeding, exploring the roots of old-school cannabis strains. Old-school cannabis genetics refer to the foundational strains that laid the groundwork for the diverse varieties available in today's market. These original genetics hold a special place in the hearts of cannabis enthusiasts and breeders alike. They are the building blocks of the modern cannabis industry, with their unique characteristics and effects shaping the way we perceive and consume cannabis today. Understanding the significance of heritage strains. Heritage strains, such as Skunk, Northern Lights, and Haze, have stood the test of time and continue to influence new hybrids and cultivars. These classic varieties offer a glimpse into the rich history of cannabis cultivation and consumption, providing a connection to the past for many enthusiasts. The distinct aromas, flavors, and effects of these old-school genetics showcase the diversity and complexity of the cannabis plant. Unraveling the genetic makeup of old-school strains. Old-school cannabis genetics are known for their stability and consistency, traits that are highly valued in breeding programs. These classic strains often exhibit strong genetic markers that make them reliable choices for breeders looking to create new and exciting varieties. By understanding the genetic makeup of these heritage strains, Osmolabs has harnessed their unique characteristics to develop novel cultivars with specific traits and effects. Navigating the evolution of cannabis genetics. As the cannabis industry continues to evolve, old-school genetics remain a cornerstone of breeding projects aimed at preserving and enhancing the qualities of classic strains. By blending old-school genetics with old-school breeding techniques, Osmolabs has created hybrids that offer a fresh take on familiar favorites. This fusion of old-school genetics results in a diverse array of cannabis varieties that cater to a wide range of consumer preferences. Embracing the timeless appeal of old-school cannabis, Osmolabs' genetics library will always be completely separate from the current cannabis industry genetics pool. With hundreds of old-school strains, Osmolabs has something for everyone.